Hi, everyone. It's Diane Evans with stampinwithdiane.com. I'm an independent Canadian Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the interior of British Columbia. So if this is one of your first times joining me, I thank you. I thank you so much for joining me. And if you're joining me as you have done before, I really, truly do appreciate you. So today is my Technique Tuesday, and I know I'm on earlier. And the reason being for that is because I've been involved in quite a bit of training lately. And I thought I had to go earlier than what my scheduled time is, but I get mixed up with Australian time and UK time and everything else. In any event, I'm here early, but a little tiny bit late. Awesome. So if you are watching on YouTube, make sure that you've subscribed down below here. And if you're watching on Facebook, make sure that you've given StreamYard permission. Now, beware, this is part of a live presentation. So if by any chance I am talking back and forth and you're watching this on a replay and you don't like that, just scoot on by that part. Excuse me. And then you don't have to put up with that. But hey, they might be asking questions that you may have as well. Hello, Marjorie and Barb and Lorraine and Kay. Oh, excuse me. This is now, I've always asked, I say, do you have any techniques that you want me to show? I may have showed some before, and I might come and do one with a bit of a twist on it as well. But this one was from Lila, and she's one of the ones that posts very regularly on my Stampin' with Diane group, and this is called Crack Glass. This is a really, really old technique. It's one that's been around forever and ever. Oh my goodness, I've got a bit of a tickle. And I looked over to see what kind of a something I had to sip on, and it's Epsom salts water. So we don't want to have that. Hello, Susan. Let's see what we're saying. Oh, it's 8:18 in Nova Scotia. Well, the thing is, I thought I had a training starting at 5 o'clock Pacific time, which was in Australia. But with I think they're going through a time change next month. But in any event, this is one because of Lila. She had asked me to do the cracked glass. Now, cracked glass, like I say, has been around for a long time. We used to have things that was called. Oh, there was a lot of different product, but I'm going to show you this particular technique with product that we can readily get available from Stampin' Up. There's so many different ways of doing this. I even experimented today, and I used the fine glue tip pen. And yes, you can do this with this, but I find it's not as reliable as doing it the other way. So I am just going to go right in, and we are going to do it just with clear embossing powder. Let's see who else is here. Hello, Holly. Oh, did I say a different day? Then anyways, it's just one of those things. In any event, cracked glass. This is a technique that you will take. Again, I keep saying, if you learn the technique and stick with the technique of heat embossing, you will find that there are so many different techniques. I know I have 2 or 3 more that I want to show you, but I don't want to load them up with the heat embossing. But this one is so neat, and it goes just by what the name says, is cracked glass. To me, this goes better with a type of a stamp set that has a scene. If you remember that Christmas barn, that one would have been perfect for this. The old St. Nicholas, mine has been stuck in customs forever, so, and it hasn't been released yet. So I've got one sitting there that basically has this particular stamp set that I think would have worked perfect with this. Hello, Roz and Renee. Yes, I know it's Wednesday in Australia, but it's Tuesday here. I know. Um, I know. All right, so let's get going on this cracked glass technique. I really thought that it would work really well. Well, we'll see how well it turns out with this Joy of Noel set. a lot of times all you have to do, and the instructions are going to post tomorrow at 9:05 on my Facebook page, our group, and you can find that link below. If you're not a member of that group, you will have to ask to be a member of that group. This is technique number 71, and it's in the files section on that, in that group. And it's very easy to download. I see Lorraine had a beautiful book done with it all downloaded and everything else. But that's the whole purpose of this. It's not professional. It's just something that I feel that I want you to have. All right. So to me, the best images are older looking images. I'm kind of looking over at my things over here, and we don't have very many of those types of images. There's actually one that is the host set in the annual catalog. It would work quite well, but I'm going to try it with this particular image here. This comes with stamps and dies. So like I say, I'm going to use this one, and I cut it out. Now, the best thing to do with this particular one is I always say stamp your image, and we're going to color this image, but before you color it, cut it out. And the reason being for that is so that you don't have that issue of, you know, how it slides when sometimes you put it through. So you've gone to all that coloring and it slides and you have to start all over again. So we don't want that happening. Okay, so this is a photopolymer stamp, and it basically, we need to use it with just have to get a piece of Very Vanilla. Now I'm using this with a Very Vanilla. Normally I would do this with a basic white, but I want a certain color to this particular stamp once we've done the cracked glass on it. So I'm just coming in and I'm doing it with Memento because we're going to go in and we're going to color that. And of course it is a photopolymer stamp set, so we want to use our paper piercing mat. Let's just go ahead and get that inked up again. Just going to put it on there on a scrap piece. Hello, Janet from Southern Alberta. Welcome. Okay, so I have that. And like I said, before I color, what I would normally do is I would cut this out. I've gone ahead and cut it out on another one, but I'm going to actually just come in here and color this. Now I am using the Specialty Joy of Noel paper, which is a foil paper, and it is found. Just go and show you that. That's this Joyful specialty paper here, and I'm using the one with the musical notes on there. So like I say, I'm going to come in now with a cherry cobbler. Originally what I was going to use was real red with this, but I'm using a cherry cobbler. I'm also using light and dark old olive, and then I decided to also go in and use the light mossy meadow on there as well. So I'll just quickly color that, or I'll show you how I'm coloring that. I went and I just did a light old olive on this part. And really, after you see this technique, you're going to see that you don't have to pay too much attention to this kind of coloring. I am using the brush end on this. So we'll just we want to lay that foundation down, right? We want to get it so that the paper is saturated. And it's that small of an image that I'm actually going to color all of the leaves on there. Then I'm going to go in with the light or the dark old olive. And I'm using the bullet end on this particular one. Hello, Diana and Lorraine. Oh my goodness, we got lots from Australia. So I'm just coming in here, just doing, I'm letting Stampin' Up tell me where the shading goes. Now you notice I like to put the light down first, And the reason I do is, like I say, I like to have that paper saturated. Now, when I go in to blend this, I just go and I use the bullet end and I go in circles. I want to take those direct lines right away, and I just want it to look like it's like I take the lines away. So I'm actually blending it, right? You don't want to see lines in this particular one. This is such an easy stamp set to actually color that it almost makes you cheat, right? I call it cheating. I find these blends are a cheater blend anyways. And then I'm just coming in with my Mossy Meadow, and I'm using the bullet, and I'm just going to come in here and just getting in the sprig parts. You'll notice, like I say, once I do this technique on here, you're going to go, oh, well, it didn't really matter. And it doesn't really matter, but you do want some of that color. Now, on the instruction sheets, it just tells you to stamp the image. By all means, if it is this kind of an open image, what you want to do is you want to go and make it colored. This shows a bit of lines on it, so I'm just going to go back in and get that. And then I'm just going in with the light cherry cobbler and coloring the berries. Haven't played too much with these types of images. But this one, like I say, I had to go with the cherry cobbler because of the cherry cobbler in this particular paper. I think that the paper in the other designer series paper is more of a real red. All right, so we just have that like that. Like I say, normally I would go ahead and I would cut this out. This has to, and I've just got this one done just to show you. This part has to be done before, and it has to be cut. And you will now start to understand why. Now, your best friends in this are going to be clear embossing folder and the Versamark. Hello, Teresa. So if you are on Facebook, and I'm not saying your name, it's just because StreamYard has to have permission on the Facebook group in order to do this. Now, I'm going to show you a couple ways that we can go ahead and do this. This needs to be, like I say, we're going to need to do this 5, 6, maybe even 7 times, depending on how quickly that it goes. But I'm going to show you a quick way that we don't have to wait for it to cool down and then use our Versamark again. So I'm just going to heat this up. Oops. And we're just going to keep doing this process, and we're going to do it to, like I say, oh, I should have, let me just go back here and bring this in. Notice I've got the silicone mat. That protects your surface. Also, that way, if you get Versamark on it, you can just run it under the tap and clean it off. All right, so we've got this part done. The first layer is going to be quite modelly. So I'm just going to take it and stick it down in here and bring it back out and heat set it again. And we're, like I say, we're going to repeat this process, 5, 6, 7 times. You'll be able to tell, and I'll be able to show you. Once this paper starts to change color, and when I say color, what the paper is going to do is it's going to go a little more yellow on here. And this, honestly, this embossing powder does get all over the place. And that's another reason why you want to be on that silicone mat. Just going and getting some more. You know, it may look like it's a long process, but by doing it this way, it's quite easy. Do I use, no, you don't even need to use the embossing buddy on this technique at all. You want the whole image to be covered, and I should have mentioned that. You want the whole image to be covered with embossing powder. Now see, it's starting to get thicker on here, and so with it thicker, it's going to, there's going to be more melting, and it's going to be a thicker layer on here. But you can see now, because this was actually a basic white piece, you can see now it's starting to go a cream color, and it's quite thick. I'm taking it again and, whoops, putting it back in that embossing powder. I used to do this in a box so that the embossing powder didn't go all over the place, but that was when we had a different product. This, I am just using plain, clear embossing powder. Like I say, I could then take this and I could put that glue on there, and it has to dry, and it has to dry for about 4 or 5 hours. So we're just going to do it this way. And I think I have that about enough on there. So you can see, and we're going to let that cool down before I pick it up. You can see that it's actually gone. This was a basic white, but see how it's kind of gone a old vanilla sort of style on there. All right, as soon as that's a little bit cool, then I can move it. Now, at this point here, what you want to do is you want to take this image, and honestly, you need to have a place where this can cool off. Now, I'm fortunate in my studio here. This was part of a basement suite, and I've turned it into a complete studio. So I have a fridge very, very close. That's really, really hot. So I am going to put this in my freezer compartment. So I'm just going to take this, and I already have one already there. And when it goes in the fridge, it kind of comes, and it curls up and that sort of stuff. Now, this is the magic, and you have to be careful when you do this. You just want to do little cracks, but you can hear it. Hear that crack? And that is giving us our cracked glass. Now you want to hold it. Now you could lose some of this embossing powder on it, but see how it's cracked in there? And we're going to make that more predominant by actually coming in. And I think that's quite a bit of cracking going on, but you can see it where it's cracked. And then what I'm going to do is I'm coming in with a blending brush and my crumb cake. And now what I want to do is I just want to put some of this on here just to antique this a bit. Like I say, a lot of them used crystal effects before. But this one just uses. Now, what that can do is that sometimes gets in between that cracked stuff. Now, we want to make sure that we get that clean because it's not going to dry very well. So I'm just going to come in with a piece of paper towel. Don't know what you call that down in Australia. It's called table towel, and we're just going to take this off just a bit. But you can see how it's cracked. Now, like I say, think of this with, this would have worked great with the one horse open sleigh as well. The other one that it would have worked good with, like I say, would be that old St. Nicholas one. But yeah. All right. So I do happen to have my cardstock here. See, originally, this is the one I was going to use, and see how it's a different red. So I've just got some thick, very vanilla cardstock. And I do tend to have a bit of embossing powder all over the place. Now this is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And let's go in and just get that good old bone folder on there. See how that, you can see more of the cracked glass there. All right, so we have the musical notes. And I made sure that there was a triple clef there so I knew which way. That just looks so wrong. Anyways, I'm going to put it the way that I feel it should go. Oops. And we're just going to put this on here. Like I say, when I do a technique, it's not usually the card that's the focal point. It's actually, somebody's going to tell me I've got this upside down. I'm sure they will. No, I'm sure it goes this way. I don't read music. So, all right. So I used my scallop contour dies and I thought, oh, I could put that on there and then put this on there. And I went, oh, it doesn't really show up. Oh, it's right. Oh, good. Thanks, Lorraine. By the way, Lorraine, your husband was amazing at Probus today. So I'm just using, this is the third scalloped one. And then I'm just going to come down here and put this down here. And it's going to, now when I go to put this on, now this needs to be glued down. And the reason being is because it's quite thick. It has a bit of a curve to it. So we want to make sure that that's good and glued down. So we're going to have to wait for that to dry on there. And then I also went ahead and used the dies and cut out this as well. I'm not sure how that's going to look. There, that'll look good. We're going to pop that one up actually. All right, so that should hold that part down. And I do have two more of these things. I also thought this ribbon might look good on it. I'm not sure. So we have that. And then I have these. These are the festive pearls. They might go on there. And I think I'll just leave those on there. So that's going to go about there. But we want to make sure that that's glued down. Oh. Oh, whew, I got the triple clef the right way. Good stuff. Oh my goodness, you guys. See, that's why I need your help. Wasn't one of the fortunate ones to take musical lessons. If you heard me sing, you'd understand. So it's one talent I sure wish I had was singing. All right. So that can just go like that. Ooh, that looks crooked. Got to make sure that that doesn't. It is crooked. Ooh. Well, we're going to distract from how crooked it is. So we can go, and I was thinking that maybe that gold is, there's too much gold on there. So I can go in and I can cut one of those. See, that's quite a big gold. And then what we want to do is I want to go, and on this particular stamp set, there's this Making Spirits Bright. So I think what I'll do is I'll just grab some. No, we'll do it this way. You've heard me with that embossing gun quite a bit. So I am going to go in and doing this Making Spirits Bright. And wasn't my original thought to do that. So I'm just going to go in there. And now, okay, this is when I'm going to use that embossing buddy and just do that. I think we want to tie the gold back in with the rest of the card, right? So I'm just coming in with that Making Spirits Bright. We're going to do that on the onto this piece here. Whoops, it's upside down. It's okay because, whoops, I'm just going to turn it around. And my gold embossing, I didn't intend to do this. So now one other thing that you can do with this cracked glass is if you decided what you wanted to do, if you wanted to add stuff at, like, you could add beads in. To me, that's not my style. But you could add in things like a gold embossing powder in there. You could, at the very last one. So there's those options that you can do as well. So I'm just going to quickly come in here and heat set this. What is the tool? Okay, Lorraine is asking, what is the tool that I use to get the backing off? You know, that's my Take Your Pick tool. And probably you're noticing maybe a different end on the Take Your Pick tool. I have on the end of one of mine, and it's an accessory end to the Take Your Pick tool, is the cutter. I could have used just my regular Take Your Pick, but this is the one with a cutter on it and the X-Acto knife on there. All right, so I'm just going to come with this. Let's just come and do a tiny bit of fussy cutting because you know how much I love fussy cutting. And we'll also cut this next part off the top too. Yeah, the Take Your Pick tool is an amazing tool. It not only helps pick up little tiny things, which I'll show you in a bit with these tiny little festive pearls. I have issues getting those off the back. All right, so this can go just right here. So we're going to go ahead and put this on here, and let's do another one there. And like I say, I'm just taking the two. This is the this has different ends on it. This has a scoop end that fits in there, and then it has this end as well. So yeah, that's how I go when I do that. This is just going to go across here. And then on these festive pearls, there's a lot of gold on there. So I'm thinking to myself, I definitely do not need any ribbon on there. There's gold, silver, blue, aquity blue, and then a red. So then I'm just taking this tool here as well. And I am going to put these pearls onto this card. Now, to me, they're small. So I'm going to use 5. There's a lot on this card. So there. And we can put one right there. And then that kind of gives us this. And like I say, that's the cracked glass. Now I probably should go ahead and go on the inside, but I'm going to tell you what my issue is. I don't have anything on the inside. So if I want to color I am going to have to put another piece on there because with the Stampin' Blends, it goes through. So I'm going to leave that part in, or I could have done something like that and put that on there. I'm going to leave that for the time being. But there's the card showing the cracked glass. So I hope you enjoyed that. I really do hope that you enjoyed that. So if you like that, give me the thumbs up. Share my video. I really do appreciate that when you do that. If you do live in Canada and do not have a demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just look me up under Stampin' with Diane. And in any event, that was fun. I enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, remember to reach out like Lila did. It was cracked glass that she wanted to see. Hers, of course, was a different type. It was done with crystal effects. I'm pretty sure it was. And that used to be a great way of doing it as well. So if you have that in your stash, by all means, go ahead and give that a try. Yes. They're great techniques. You know, there's so many techniques. So if you hear of one, give me a shout out. If I haven't already done it, I'll do it. Or if I have done it, I'll try doing a variation of it. Thank you, Lila. Yes, antique cards for sure. Hello, Diane. Thank you. Okay. What's happening? Tomorrow is mystery. Oh my goodness, it's already Mystery Wednesday. Where did the weeks go, right? In any event, you guys, make sure you tune back at 3 o'clock Pacific time. I will be live. I will give you some clues by noon. Hopefully, we're having problems with my scheduling tool. But in any event, I hope that you do give it a try. Remember, this will be posting, this sheet will be posting tomorrow at 9:05 on my Facebook group. You can download it. It's in the files. There's nothing, like I say, special about it, but it's easy to download. Put it into a binder, and you've got a whole pile of techniques there as well. Have I done a video on stained glass? Yes, I have, but there is a different technique with it. So thank you very much, Lorraine. I will put that back in the thinking tank, and I will try to work on an alternative to that and refer you to the other one. Just go under that part, under the files, and you'll see all the different techniques. All right, you guys, have a great day. Remember to create because it's great for the soul. And we will see you tomorrow, 3 o'clock Pacific. Bye for now.